What is up, my friend? Donnie Baker here with the LPR Sound Foundation. I think this is week 5, man, that we're talking about the new studio build. And this is called B-Side Studio. And there's a reason for it. We'll get to it next week when we do the studio tour. This week, I want to share with you what I did with the Patchbays. I got stuff wired up. I got stuff, you know, you've seen it go from just a Van Nuys apartment with the white walls and the popcorn ceiling and nothing on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And then we slowly built up over the last 4 weeks to what it is now. And this week I want to talk to you about the Patchbays. Now, I'm not going to dive into Patchbay configurations and things like that too deep. I'm going to share with you why I did what I did, because things are a little different now in our world as a studio. And so I'm going to share with you why I did what I did. But if you want more information about, let's say, fully normal configuration, half normal configuration, and the reason why you might want those, I'll link to a video right here where you guys can go check that out. Okay, so we did it, I think it was in February we did. It's a really cool video. I think you'll like it. I think it'll explain a lot about how configurations are made. Now, with this being said, what I suggest is that you map out on paper kind of what you did. Hang on one second. I'm gonna pause this video. I forgot I had the paper. Now, what I suggest is that you map it out. Now, I went kind of crazy and did it I printed out like a spreadsheet of where we had it from before. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know it's out of focus a little bit, but this is where I mapped out. Now, this other sheet explains how the gear is racked up in the racks over here. Well, again, we're gonna do a studio tour next week, so be prepared for that. But I suggest you draw it out on a piece of paper, man. Even if it's crude, bro, and you just got like this equipment, this piece of equipment, this piece of equipment, and draw arrows. You know what I mean? But yeah, make sure you draw it out on a piece of paper first, so that in your mind you know exactly where everything's gonna be and exactly where everything's got to go. That's very helpful. Don't just try to dive in there and start running cables and blindly and saying, oh, because you're gonna go back, you're gonna end up going back and doing it again. I know you are, because I've done it. There's stories, man, there's stories about how, oh God, dude, we used to have this quick story when we first moved from North Hollywood to Glendale, to the big studio. Man, we had 1/4-inch Patchbays, but they were all soldered. Bro, there was, each Patchbay I think had what, 24 and 24, so 48 connections. Each connection had 5 or 7 soldered connectors. Oh my goodness, man! If you didn't know how to solder by the time you were doing that, by the time you got done, you definitely were proficient at soldering. Because man, you mess up just one little bit because all those connectors are right next to each other. It was horrible, man. It was terrible until we discovered that we could buy a Patchbay that had the DB25 connectors on the back. Man, I tell you what, the Patchbays I have here are 1/4-inch. They're TRS. They're actually Behringers. They're not bad. I mean, Behringer gets a bad rap, but you know, they've got a bad. People talk crap about Behringer, but man, they're not bad. They work great. They were in, you know, they were in the old Studio B, and they work great. The cool part about this, man, is that I'll leave a link to it here. Trace Audio. Trace Audio is where we had the labels made, man, and the labels are dope, bro. They got, you know, you can color code everything and label everything, and it's a vinyl sticker that goes on your Patchbay. Now they don't support they don't do for TT stuff, for tiny telephone stuff, but they do a lot of the different 1/4-inch Patchbays, Behringer being one of them. I think it's the PX3000 is the one that we have, and it's just literally a switch to switch between normal and half normal and through, and it's really simple, really easy to put together, but you have to think about what you got going on. You know what I mean? So I'm going to share with you some pictures of the gear. Again, we're not doing a studio tour just yet. That'll be next week. Okay, so be ready for that. I'm going to spend some time putting that one together for you. I really want to show you the gear that we put in, why I put the gear in, why we're using that gear. So let's jump over and look at some pictures, shall we? Here's some of these are the racks. these are the racks that I chose, and the racks that I put together for the gear that I wanted to keep in the racks. Now, we are primarily turning, B-Side Studio is going to be primarily a mixing and mastering studio. We will also be doing editing and some production, not a lot of production, but some production. Basically, we're not going to be doing any recording. We are going to be mixing and fixing and things like that. So what I've got here is mostly compressors, EQs. I'm a big dude. I love my SPX 90s, my Yamaha SPX 90s. I got 3 of those in the rack. I've got a Sony multi-effects unit, a Lexicon multi-effects unit that I really enjoy. The one there with the Tube Tech, that's actually a mobile rig that's going to be able to go out into the field and do some recording if we need to do some recording. It's got a Apollo 8P, and it's got a Neve 1073 with an EQ, and it's the 500 series, the LB. And then a Tube Tech. Now that, we do have a couple of great microphones. We've got the Sony C800G, we've got a couple of U87s, etc. So this will be able to go out into the field and enjoy recording wherever you are. Whether it's at, say you're coming into town, you're staying at an Airbnb. We've also got the Chaotic Eyeball and some other acoustic treatments for microphones that are really well done. Here's basically a closer look at some of the gear stuff. I did keep the Avalon. I do enjoy the EQ and the compressor on the Avalon. Got a couple of 1176s there. The black ones underneath that are the Clark Technic KT76. Those are not bad. They do have a place. They do have a place, mostly on my drums. But if I do need to compress some drums or a drum bus, that kind of vibe. Below that, I got my LA4s, which I really enjoy as far as compression goes. But we kept the APIs, we kept the 1073s, all the SSL stuff, EQs and compression, dynamics. Basically, it's got a gate and everything. And then of course the 1081s. I love the EQs on the 1081s. We still have the Allen Heath console. Now, what I've done with the Apollos that we have, we only need 24 outs. I've got 24 outs of my Apollos going onto the console. Now, because this console, let me come back over here, man. Let me come back over here to me. Because of the way the console is wired, the way I've got the console wired, I don't really need to insert into every channel. What I can do is I send the channel out to, so let's say I need to compress my overall drum bus. I take all my drums that are running through, channel 1 is the kick, channel 2 is the snare, channel 3, you get the idea. And then I run everything to a subgroup. Basically, it's like a folder or like an auxiliary in Pro Tools, if you will. Run everything to that, and then I can insert onto that subgroup. This console's got 8 subgroups, or 4 stereo subgroups, so I can do it that way. So back to the look. So that's the way that I run that. I don't need to have, because honestly, man, I don't need just a ton of insert cables on that. I'm not mixing that way. When I mix on the console, it's mostly stem mix. I hybrid mix. So I'll send all the drums out to channel 1 and 2, the bass out to 3 and 4, etc., etc. Next I just showed you those papers, but this is kind of the map that I mapped out, and I did spend some time mapping this out. It wasn't like I did it, in an hour. I did spend a lot of time putting that together. There's the Trace Audio labels. That's what they look like when they come in. I haven't put these onto the Patchbays just yet, and we're gonna do that this afternoon. But this is what they look like, man. They're basically stickers, bro, and they stick on top of your Patchbay, and they look great. They're labeled great. They're labeled awesome. You can see I've got my group insert sends, my group insert returns there, and you can see I've got the SSL Bus Plus. I've got the SSL Bus Plus sidechain, which we do keep. I do sidechain to the SSL Bus Plus. That's kind of fun. Here's Trace Audio. This is the Trace Audio website. It's just traceaudio.com. If you want to go there, check it out. See if they have your Patchbays that you can make labels for. These are the labels that I actually made, and they're what, $24 each. So I spent almost $100 with ship. I think with shipping it was like $102 or something for 4. Easy to put together, man. Here's what they look like in the rack. These are the Patchbays in the rack. Another shot of the Patchbays in the rack. I kept them all dark. You can put your own logo on there. I didn't feel that. Yeah, Trace Audio logo, I don't mind. It's kind of dark and subdued. So y'all know, if y'all been in my studio, man, you know I like it dark and cold as we like it. So that's pretty much it, man. Like I said, next week we're gonna do a full studio tour. I'm gonna share with you the piece of equipment, why I put it in there, why I kept it in there, why I have it, why I use it, why I like it, and basically I'm gonna show you around the studio a little bit more because it's new. You know, this is so we're calling it B-side studio because it's the B-side of where we were, and it's in Suite B. It's awesome, and we're in Burbank, so there's that. It's a lot of fun, man, and we're having a great time. Building this has been a feat. It's been stressful at times, but mostly fun. You know, I mean, everybody hates moving their stuff, but you know, we got to do it sometimes. So without taking up too much of your time, dude, I got some awesome stuff coming up. After the studio tour, we're gonna jump more into doing review videos. I got a lot of tutorials that I'm gonna be putting together, mostly Pro Tools because that's what I work in. But I'm slowly starting to move over to using Luna a little more. In case anybody wants to know anything about Luna, it's the Apollo, and it's free. It's a free download for you. But also I'm gonna be, I'm venturing into Studio One. I hear that's pretty good. A buddy of mine, Joe Gilder, is he's a spokesman for you know, Persona Studio One. I really enjoy looking. I've used it a couple of times, but you know, being a commercial studio, we weren't able to have it on all the time. Mostly we're Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools, that kind of vibe. But now that it's just me mixing, I mean, I might go on over to Studio One because you buy it and it's yours. You know what I mean? None of this perpetual having to pay every year or pay every month kind of vibe with. I mean, Avid. I like Avid. I like the way it works, but you know, I'm hybrid mixing, bro. So I'm monitoring on my console. That's my vibe. You know, that's what I got. So we're gonna have oh, dude, the album's coming out next month. I know I told you last week. I don't have a date just yet, but the song order is done. That's the hard part for the artist, is figuring out which song to go first, you know, which song to be last, whatever. He is gonna do vinyl, so there's that. We had to keep it to 13 songs so we can fit everything on the vinyl, but it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I'm excited for it. It's a great project. I'm really proud of it, and I did pretty much everything on it. So except play, y'all don't want that. But yeah, it's gonna be cool, and I'm gonna share some of the files with you. One of the songs I'll share right here. I'm giving it to you to mix. So go mix this song and send it to me. Shoot it to me on an email. Let me know how you do, and we'll see you next time. Next week, studio tour. See you then. Donnie B, I'm out.